Could you really be in this town?
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Could Mary really be here? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
Anyway, welcome to Silent Hill 2,
Yeah.
the remake.
What? Hello, fellow gamers. Hi, this is Silent Hill 2 remake.
I gotta say, this is a very self-indulgent project on our part. Years and years ago, we ended up playing Silent Hill 2 together. I think that was probably one of the first games that we had actually played together.
Yeah, full playthrough where we just kind of sat on. Oh, Skype days. We just sat on Skype together and played the game.
Yeah. And so when this remake came out, I was like, we should come out of retirement and go ahead.
What do you mean we? I do a video every 2 years. All right. Let's
Yeah. No, I mean, like, well, and that's not to say that I don't either, but I certainly have not had a playthrough in well over 15 years, probably. It's just not particularly my style. But, you know, after all of this time has passed, I thought, you know, it'd be a fun little thing to come back and do a playthrough of a game that very, very much united us in the past, and
Sure did.
do something cool with it. And I've had a great time. This project, I must admit, has blossomed in scope for myself in a way that I wasn't totally expecting.
Which essentially just means I did all the fun part, and then I threw all the difficult work and labor at Gwynn.
I mean, it's don't get me wrong, I've done a lot, but at the same time, it's all been really fun. I've been using this as a big learning experience for learning a lot of editing stuff, and it's certainly been a lot. And you know what? I mean, like, I will say, if you are seeing this at all, that means that I've finished the project, which is totally abnormal for us in general. I'll come back to what I was saying earlier, but this playthrough is on, well, half of the playthrough is on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
So I guess to get back to what we were talking about originally, the fact that we are both not very consistent with streaming and recording and doing playthroughs and whatnot means that we encountered some issues.
We were a little stupid.
Yeah, while streaming the game initially, and we tried to do a bunch of stuff that we probably shouldn't have done. We probably took 2 or 3 years off of Sam's graphics card's life by trying to
it is dying.
trying to stream the game while playing it on pretty high settings through Discord and on OBS, and recording multiple audio tracks that were all incorrect audio tracks.
Yeah, when I say we were stupid and we messed up, it's like the royal we, because I'm like, Gwynn was just sitting there like, yeah, let's commentate, and I'm like, all right, let me pull out OBS, let me record everything on a singular audio track, it'll be fine. Gwyn's like, this is gonna be okay.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, in all fairness, I did push Sam to, I don't want to say do it the proper way, but
black screen on this, just black screen on all of this, no spoilers.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, if we're gonna do this, I want to do it right. And so we hit some roadblocks. So basically, I think the first 4 or 5 parts that we have here are going to be all post commentary, and then we will merge back together with the original timeline. And it'll be all live commentary from there.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But... I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for... someone. Someone very important to me.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean, my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry, it's not your problem.
No, I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too. Did you, Did you want anything else?
No, it's just this fog. Does it seem unsettling to you?
I guess. It's just through the gate and down the path. You'll get there in no time. Good luck finding the one you're looking for.
Yeah, I should probably get going.
But there's definitely some optimizations that could have been done. Anyway, this is new. This is not in the original game.
This is not in the original, no. We'll talk about that as well when we get back into the post-game stuff we wanted to discuss, but this you will not find on your first playthrough.
No.
And I'm glad that I checked it out, because I was like, what will that be for? And at the time, I didn't actually know. And it's also kind of rude, because you can't go back to the to this area. You can't come back to the graveyard after a pretty quick point here in the future.
Yep.
So that's just stuff that it's like, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't really pay close attention to the environment in a New Game Plus playthrough, you're just gonna lock yourself out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I will say, there's been a couple of moments here on this video already. Oh my god, yeah, this as well, where I did record my own voice through this. All have sinned and fall short. What is the last thing?
Something for glory.
Of God's glory.
Of God's glory.
Yeah. So we couldn't decipher what this meant or what this was saying on the very first time he came here, like on the original files we lost. And I literally just sit here and stare at it, because on the commentary you won't hear, I'm like, Gwyn, what does it say? Gwyn, zoom in. Zoom in. Is that supposed to be all have sinned tall and short? But then why is the end over there? Gwyn, I need you to enhance. So there will be a lot of moments where on this footage, you'll see me kind of sit around and look at stuff. I've minute from the eyes of somebody who's just beaten the game.
Yeah.
And what you won't hear is probably just me talking to, editing Gwyn in the background, but just be like, hey, look at this when you get the chance, kind of situation. It's going to definitely be a lot of rambling going on.
It'll be fine.
I'm also going to get to another New Game Plus feature here in a second that I will not abuse for this playthrough. So to keep it as authentic as possible. So two things are going to happen here. This is a hard mode run. This is the actual New Game Plus playthrough where I stayed on hard from beginning to end. Later in our original footage, so when we get a couple of more parts into this, you'll see that I actually moved away from normal difficulty, but I'm looking, I'm looking for it, I'm like, it's supposed to be here, where is it, please? But yeah, so this is a hard mode difficulty where what I'm about to pick up would be quite nice to have.
Yep.
But I'm not going to be using it until I get, to the part where we actually, there it is, where we catch up with the real playthrough. Nice. Lumberjack. Find the chainsaw. It was beautiful. But yeah, because the chainsaw essentially one-shots everything in your way, at least early game. And that didn't seem right. I immediately tried to, like, get me in there. Let me in.
Yeah, because there's a special little secret in there that you have to go find.
Yeah, you have to go in there. What is his name? Shisa, get him in there.
He already did. He already went in there twice now. He's done 2 videos, and they're pretty cool. Although I didn't end up watching the second one because it does have ending stuff, and I'm trying to. Oh shit, that was so weird looking, but all right.
Plus, you don't have a weapon at this point, so the fact that he still lets you do that is nice.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's very true.
For some reason, he just does a lot of this. I don't know why. He's really odd.
Yeah, so I guess that's another good thing to talk about. So a lot of this, so I'm stumbling over my words here because I'm trying to find the most kind way to say this. Our biggest critique by far of this game, and that it'll become extremely prevalent later on in the playthrough, and I don't want to belabor the point here too much, because
I did spend 40 minutes just complaining about it when I did a singular part by myself.
Yeah, and so the combat in this game, I'm of 2 minds about it, right? Because
it's bloated.
It is a little bit bloated, and the thing is that so I've been going back through the original game because I've been trying to grab the pre-rendered scenes from the original game to use in the little intro sections that I have done before the videos. And for some reason, I can't find any of those uploaded online anywhere in like a decent resolution. Like obviously they're already very low resolution files, but they're even worse online because all of the guides that have uploaded them are from years and years ago. And plus, I don't really want to use assets that other people have done. I don't feel like that's appropriate. Like I do when I have to, but you know, I'd rather gather it all myself. But anyway, to get to the point that I'm trying to make here, the combat in the original game, to put it bluntly, sucks major shit. Like bad. Yeah. It's not good, and it certainly isn't interesting by any stretch, but it is clunky and weird, and it's partially intentional on the game's behalf to create an atmosphere of like struggle and pain, and you know, there's a million different reasons as to why the you're going for high window break percent in this run, correct?
I 100% am. I just wanted to see if there's like at this point in time, I haven't looked up any FAQs or anything to see what new stuff is hiding in the game, so I'm literally checking every corner of the map at this point.
Yeah. Anyway, so the combat in the original game, it's bad. And I was talking with my girlfriend and my roommate who has not played this game yet, but is interested and will probably end up watching this playthrough. So hi in advance.
Hi.
if you're here. Fuck.
There's a lot to talk about. I know,
there's so much to talk about. There's so much going on. We'll get to those at another time. Whatever. So anyway, the combat in the original game is
intentionally kind of ass because they don't want you to like they don't want you to focus on that.
Yeah.
They want you to kind of be like, okay, like avoid stuff, quickly take it out, and then move on to the more emotional gut punches of the game.
However, in that sense, though, like, what I've said is that you kind of have to make a contract with the game to be afraid of the enemies in the original Silent Hill 2, where you say, I give you full ability to scare me. You have the mandate of heaven, you can scare me. And like otherwise, because you can just sit there and press X and just wail on an enemy and they just die, and it's just it's pointless.
Yeah.
So I will give Bloober Team credit. What they've created here with the combat is actually a pretty interesting dynamic system. The enemies are definitely by far more dangerous in this game than they were in the original game.
Oh, absolutely. The enemies in this game have like actual combo strings and counterattacks and parries, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But that being said, there's just a bit too many combat encounters in this game for my liking. I think if I'm remembering the exact number, by the end of the game, you ended up killing 385 enemies. Which,
yeah, something like that. I was going to say 364, but that sounds like about that ballpark. I still need to point out the little musket on the fence. I had to. But yeah, no, I definitely so the easy part about Silent Hill 2, like the original, was that there were encounters, and they could have been numerous, but they were easily dealt with. Like the monsters didn't have any like wacky attacks, and they didn't have like a lot of counterattack chances. You just walked up to them, hit X a couple times, and they were down. Yeah. So it was very easy to dispatch of them. So it didn't really matter how many it threw at you.
Yeah.
In this game, every single encounter, especially in hard mode, requires you to really think, pay attention, dodge, take your time, and then they still throw that many at you. It's ridiculous.
I was going to say, like, it might be fairly accurate to the original game, the amount of encounters, although there's definitely a couple of levels later on in the game that kind of disprove that theory a little bit, I'd say. Because a lot of the levels in this game have been expanded, like, by 100%, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a health kit.
So, hey, yeah, that's where they had the original health drink in the
I was
OG.
about to say, I picked that up not even a little bit ago.
And I was so upset it wasn't there.
So, I mean, even if they do keep it comparable, the fact that battles could end in the original game so quickly kind of leveled out the amount of enemies that you actually had to engage with. And like Sam was saying, that's the other thing, too. In this game, it's a lot harder to avoid combat encounters. It's a lot harder to just run by enemies, I'll say.
Yeah, you really can't do it in this game. And we're back.
And nothing happened at all.
Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Don't worry about it.
I probably should have remembered what I was saying.
We were talking about how the combat encounters in this game are ridiculous because they take a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of kind of skill, which I
Yes.
do like, but there's still 385 or so of them in there.
So that's the point that I was trying to get at here, is that especially towards the middle of the playthrough, I've cut out, I've trimmed the combat sections down pretty severely, and then towards the end of the game, once Sam figured out how to fight very effectively, it becomes less and less numerous, less jarring.
You shouldn't lie to people. I've never done that. I just got looking at a lot of times. I'm still struggling on this.
Well,
point.
yeah. But it was better though. I will say. I mean,
better.
especially because the main, especially once you get a handgun in this game, everything becomes a lot easier because you just shoot the legs of every monster and they fall down to the knee, and then you can go over there and just bash their head in, and it works.
Yeah. If this is the only part of the video you're ever going to watch, let me give you a tip on hard mode, all right? Just shoot the nurses. Don't fight them. Just
fight.
shoot them. If you have a shotgun, just shoot them with a shotgun. Don't ever try to melee them. That's it.
That's all. And that's basically all I have to say about the combat too. Like I said, we'll get into it and complain far too long about it in the future. It's just basically the only real issue that I have with the game, to be honest with you.
No, honestly, I do agree with that. I think that the visual direction of the game is fantastic. The kind of story, they did it fantastic. The character of James, we'll get to that. Our past selves live reacting to this game will not stop gushing about how great James is in this game.
We are
So that's
glazing
definitely a
him
So
super
strongly.
hard. It's a fantastic. Vote for him in the Golden Joystick Awards immediately if you
Do it.
if you get the chance to. His name is Luke. Oh, I swear to God, every single time I turn on the recording button, I forget what his last name is. I'll flash it on the screen.
Luke Sunderland.
Luke Sunderland.
Whatever his name is, cross it out and put Sunderland above it. It's very important.
He's an amazing, did absolute wonders for the reading of James in this game.
He's also his. Is he also his facial model, right?
Yes, yeah, they are definitely based on their actors a lot.
It's crazy in this game, yeah.
Which was technically, I believe, sort of something that happened in the original game as well, but it is a little bit more ambiguous, I'd say. Like, if you actually look at a picture of James's original voice actor, Guy Seehee, and look at a picture of James, you're like, what? And then you look at a young picture of him, and he's like, all right, I guess I can anyway.
He's just a square model, like in his like teens. He just looked exactly like James's like modeling game, and you're like,
Yeah, the exact same way that the picture of Harry in the apartment is like a picture of him with high-res Heather and him just as his Silent Hill 1 pre-render. It's goofy as fuck.
It was so bad. I love it. I'm sure everybody, but I just got a reminder of that because I was like just browsing the internet, and it's just so funny to me. Remember how Guy got like the actual like role in Silent Hill 2? Like he drove his daughter to audition for Laura in the game. She didn't get the role, but they were like, Guy, we kind of like you. Audition for the main character. And people were like, that must have been the most awkward ride home in existence.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine. I would be so upset by that.
That's so funny. God.
So we'll make I spent a lot of the editing time in this game trying to well, first of all, I guess a lot of the editing has been us being, was that in the original game, and then me looking up in the original game if it happened, and then usually it didn't.
Did the map have a marker in the original? I need to know.
It did, yeah.
So
yeah, it does, and this disproves my long-term running theory that I wasn't bad at maps. It was just hard to read. It's true. I was messed up in that game, and I don't know. Anyway.
Also, in case I'm definitely going to do this. I don't know. I'm going to just upload the dead footage and maybe just commentary style, just leave it like up on like people can listen to it. It won't be just a black screen, but it should be like, here is what you didn't get to see. But imagine, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying before, we were getting our sea legs quite a bit, and blowing off some of the dust is for me, especially with commentary. I've definitely. Oh fuck!
I forgot. Like we didn't get to see the first time around because I didn't look at it. But
Yeah.
I did not realize how stupid it was that he just fell over and just slithered away.
Yeah.
For me, knowing this game, it was not scary. I was just like laughing at it.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's really quite funny because this is another one of those games where it's like if you know how like what to do, how to solve the puzzles, how to play the game, then you can spend your entire first playthrough taking like 20 to 30 hours, and then on your second playthrough you can beat it in like 5. It's one of those games where if you have the knowledge, then you basically can just do it.
Yeah, because with me looking and like you see me like messing around here, but with me looking for like new things in this playthrough and kind of just messing about, trying to see whatever I can find. This playthrough still only took me like 8 hours.
Yeah.
While like our first playthrough took me like what 20 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the exact time, but obviously it ended up stretching. Each of the like level sections are like basically 2 parts each, except for the hospital, which I think ended up taking us about 3. But
it was probably, I think the hospital is like the biggest one, unless you kind of count the labyrinth and the hotel as like one thing, which most people don't.
I will. It's been really crazy, especially. I've been because we wanted to do another playthrough of the original game right after this, and I mean that'll probably still eventually come, but I also, like I was saying earlier, needed all the assets from that game that I was trying to get. So I've been playing it, but I have not been paying attention that much because I don't want to like spoil how that game feels when we,
you
when
just
we go back through
blindly
it.
run through town like, no, don't look at me, please. You see here, this game, like the line figures in this game have like a revenge value, like a counterattack move. Okay, I was like, I want to see how the chainsaw works in this game because you know I did just get it, and it just instantly like whacks him over. Like every single line figure just gets one shot by the. What is down there? Why am I clicking on it? Oh, he just has an extra line. Yeah, I don't even remember.
Yeah, I guess it's because after, like, literally in the original game, when you kill the first lying figure, it, like, hard cuts to a cutscene where James, like, is it dead?
Yeah.
And he sounds like such a fucking dweeb when he says it. Anyway.
Wow, just fucking dunking on this man, I see.
Yeah.
Is it dead?
Is it dead?
What in the hell's going on in this city?
He has some amazing inflections. I can't wait for you to go back in here because I remembered the dialogue of the original being super stilted and awkward, but like, oh man, it has got that like early 2000s voice acting charm to it. Anyway,
I'm trying to think because like not being live actually in the game, I'm trying to think of like exactly what it would be that I would want to bring up. One thing that is really interesting because as a veteran of this game, you know, when we first did this, I went in with no tutorials, everything turned off. And on this playthrough, I didn't take the time to go through the settings because for some reason when you start a New Game Plus, it asks you again. And I was like, whatever, just give me the basic like setup. And then it gives me that tutorial a little bit early in this video, like about 5 minutes ago. It gives you this tutorial where it's like, I also missed this in the first playthrough. It gives you the tutorial where it says, look for the white, like the things draped in white cloth to keep moving. And I didn't know that. Like I never knew that that was a thing that the game like tells you to keep an eye out for. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's something that they should have kept in, even if you asked for detailed tutorials turned off.
You figured it out eventually. I remember you making a comment about it in the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of times beforehand where you would have to tell me where to go because I was just so stupid.
Yeah, I did do a lot of hand-holding to keep this moving along.
When it gets...
Sorry. I was like...
Discord!
Yeah, the second time that this has happened where we've just run past it and not said anything. So back there at that little blood stain that was next to the fence. So I believe... I can't remember exactly what this street is called. So those little areas where the game takes the camera and like shows you from a certain angle like that and does a little buttering, and so those are I think the community has colloquially referred to them as like memories, and they're basically just scenes from the original game that have been changed for the remake, but they kept the nods to it in this game, and you'll see a whole bunch more later on in the game, and they're very interesting because they sort of speak to something that has been confirmed, not confirmed, nudged to like a little bit harder than it was in the past.
Sorry, I was like, what am I looking at? And I was like, it just came out. I was like, I forgot that the enemies are now just all over the place.
Yeah. So this is another thing that we'll talk about a little bit more going back into the later parts of the game. I don't want to spoil too much. But it's they're very interesting that they're in the game, and they serve to be a little bit more potentially than just callbacks to the original game. They might be a little bit more than that.
Yeah, like at first you might think, oh, it's just a nice little thing. They're making fun of the fact, yeah, this happened before. But then you're like, what do you mean this happened before?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it. Something to think about. Hello.
I still don't know what this is about, and it's upsetting me.
Someone said that it was Heather's clothes, and I don't know if I believe that. I haven't gotten a good enough look at them to say so. I feel like if they were going to be like, hey, this is Heather's clothes, they would make them a little bit more recognizable, but, you know, whatever.
Also, Heather never went into the fucking laundromat. Like, what?
Yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. It's hard to tell because you don't have the flashlight yet, so you can't really see.
That actually freaked me out, I think, when I played it live, too, because I keep forgetting that this happens.
Yeah.
And then I looked up on my map, I was like, where am I? And then it comes out, I was like, oh.
I remember you struggling with this scene in the original because you were like, I can't fucking see anything. And I was like, are you serious? He's right there.
No, I could not see shit.
Yeah.
I think I turned up the gamma on this playthrough because it does look nicer now on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could not see anything originally.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just another... that's another reason why I want to kind of just put up our original playthrough, even if it's just with like a black screen, like just telling people I just kind of like use it as a podcast, because we do read a lot of these notes and kind of pontificate upon them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something to put up there for to keep it for history, you know, historic purposes.
Anyway, yeah, I put a lot of effort into the editing. I wanted to do a lot of one of my big inspirations as far as like what this playthrough tried to accomplish was the Chip Cheesem Metal Gear Solid series. That's been my like go to for forever to show people like game playthroughs and like the MGS series in general. And he goes out of his way to show a lot of stuff and then, you know, explain the lore and then show a lot of Easter eggs and stuff too. And I kind of wanted to do that with this game as well. My big hope is that this could become a definitive playthrough for people to be able to watch and share with people and be like, hey, if you can't play Silent Hill 2 because your computer sucks, or you're too afraid of playing horror games and you need two nice people to talk about the game while not getting scared, then, you know.
Yeah, this is not it. I don't know if we're nice. I don't know if we can say that. We're kind of goobers. We're rude people. I don't know.
Yeah. But I cut out a lot there's the cut and the uncut version, so that people can watch without spoilers and like listen in on the cutscenes without getting our stupid butts and balls conversations in the way of being able to consume the lore.
But the stupid butts and balls conversation adds so much to the tone of the video game.
It's very true. I mean, sometimes you need those breathers. I can't lie.
Yeah, and you also need to have the T-rated and the unrated edition where you have to censor every single time you see a swear word.
And then the adult-rated one where you play the game with the James Nude mod.
Yeah,
that we keep fucking talking about for some reason.
Because it's funny. Like, I'm actually like impressed that they're like, here is a James Nude mod before like anything else was done in the game. Basically, I'm like, all right. I mean, people have the priorities straight, I guess.
Absolutely. We were talking about it. I think we figured out that before any nude mods for any of the women in the game were included, that there was the nude James mod. A win for women's rights everywhere, I think.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's crazy? I went through the mods again, you know, because I always go through mods. I always check if there's anything new, anything interesting. There on Nexus mod, I saw a new mod for the nurses, but it turns them into male nurses. And I'm like, wait a second.
Wow. So not only are we getting the addition of James struggling with his sexuality, we also get to see him struggle with being bisexual. It's amazing.
Absolutely. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, because I'm like, this is the agenda that they were all afraid of. This is the wokeness coming in here.
Yeah,
you can't have your moms.
Yeah.
I was like, it's funny. The door that wakes. This is a Kingdom Hearts quote. You can't change.
I mean, the door to darkness. You know, if I if I knew it wouldn't take me forever to realize, like, to get it done, like, I would edit the door to darkness over that door. But I'm definitely not doing that.
You sure?
Editing, Gwynn, you are absolved. You do not have to.
Editing, Gwynn, don't listen to your current self. Definitely consider doing it.
You know, well, now I just have to edit pictures of you and I as fucking angels and devils on my shoulder.
That's gonna be fun. I always wanted to see myself as Satan. You know, he's such a good boy. I'm obviously talking about Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
There you go. Jesus. See how long it takes to take them. I like how I went from Mr. Satan to immediately invoking the man, the J himself.
It balances out.
It does. Oh my god.
The karma.
It was just. Oh, this just talks about Steve. I did see. I know on our playthrough originally, I went to the other location first. So getting here, I was kind of confused. I was like, did I mess everything up right?
No. Oh, I don't. Face the music. Find the melody of your dreams.
Spoiler, a little bit, I guess. You can consider whether or not to turn to cut this. In order to get the, for example, in water ending, you need to be injured and in danger mode for especially the whole playthrough. And since we played this primarily on hard mode, that was not on the table.
Yeah.
Like, I was not gonna mess with that.
For sure. It does lock you in a little bit. Although you'd think it'd be like provide way more opportunities for you to be in mortal peril, but yeah, you do want to stay pretty topped up on hard mode.
Yeah, it's rough. I think on this playthrough, my New Game Plus playthrough, since I kind of refused to use the train so far a bit, definitely died like once. I think it was in a hospital. I got my ass kicked.
That's all right. We can. Is it? I've cut around it before. I'm sure I can figure out how to do it again.
Yeah, you can have both live commentary me and current me just kind of be upset by the death at the same time. I'm sure that will somehow sync up.
Yeah, probably you'll both groan at the exact same time, I'm sure.
I think this is just me now running literally to every single part of the town to see if there's anything new coming up.
Yeah.
If there's anything extra that the game added.
It's hard not to really. I mean, first of all, I mean, we've already talked about it. The game is insanely pretty, and it's hard to not just look at all the details. This game really does make you feel insane, especially if you're somebody like me, who, like, after playing through the first time, realized how much fucking Bloober Team went in on the symbolism of this game, and like absolutely just like they took the original shit and just dialed it up to fucking 11 for sure. And it's so like there's so many things like it got me to the point where I'm like looking at shit like a fucking texture on the ground, and I'm like, could that be a reference?
Cheryl.
Yeah.
There's definitely like parts. There's definitely parts where you can read a little bit too much into it, but I do definitely believe that with how much they put in, with how much they cared about it, I do believe that most things where you could see something might actually mean something.
Yeah, for sure. I don't. There's. I guess the best way to describe it would be that there is a lot of very intentional stuff in this game. Hey, look! I've been happy.
6.
That's how I talk to my therapist. Like, how are you doing?
I've
been happy.
I've been happy. Yeah, I'm doing happy things.
That's
Look,
right.
what? Okay, so I was trying out the overhead
the stealth
line.
mechanic. Yeah, that's like actually the only. I think you got it one more time in the original playthrough.
It really throws me off quite free. Like when we first started playing this the original playthrough, there's going to be a lot of OGs in the original, and people are going to get so confused. But when we first started recording the dead footage, I had interactable icons off because I wanted it to be as close to the original as possible, where you just kind of have to feel your way around and find things. But it just became terrible to deal with after some time. So I just turn all the icons on, and it does make it so much easier. And this is another reason why we cannot just discard and throw away the original dead footage, because then people will never hear the happy burger jokes that we made.
That's so true. He became I even called back to him later on in the playthrough. It's so sad.
He did.
This is our happy burger lying figure. He works here, and we just come in and beat the fuck out of him, because why not?
Yeah, because we're just road dudes. Like, that's... Well, are we the baddies? Yes, we are. He was just working for, like, $5 an hour in this economy.
The crazy thing, too, is that he went to the back to tell his manager that we beat the fuck out of him, and then his manager said, you can go on your 10. So...
And then, yeah.
I will say, I said that one of our only critiques of this game is that the combat is excessive, and
it's there's another critique that we both agreed on.
Yeah, and I think that the extra exploration is a little doo-doo in some cases. Like, so that whole Happy Burger excursion, although very funny, and I'm glad that we got the chance to kill a minimum wage worker. Because they deserve it, and that's the important part of working minimum wage, is that you can be killed whenever.
Never take this out of context, please. Gwynn is a good girl, and she would never.
I've gotten my lumps. I've been a minimum wage worker my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like that. Other than that, that whole excursion in Happy Burger is nothing at all, really. There's a health drink in there, and especially
extended this game for no reason.
Yeah, especially in the case of like. Playing on hard mode, for sure. Sometimes you'll end up going in there losing more resources than you gain from exploring. And it's kind of like, man, what are we doing here? You know?
Like I went through that Happy Burger, used the health drink, I think, then had to use the syringe I just got from being in there. So it was not worth it. Right. So a lot of the times if you're playing on hard mode, it's just not worth exploring.
Yeah. Which I guess makes sense, because if you're playing on hard mode, you're probably supposed to be experienced at the game, and you should probably know where the ideal pickup spots are, the easy stuff to get, but also it's a lot,
I also wanted, because we didn't bring that up before, and I didn't want us forgetting about it. There is another. There's actually a third. That's the one I was gonna. I thought you were gonna mention. The other big complaint we kept bringing up in the original recordings is that we both are not great, like really big on how much blooper team relies on big bombastic sound effects and music at all times.
Yes,
like
yeah.
the game never gives your ears a time to just breathe. Like there's always like crazy audio, crazy music. The radio in this game is not needed. It's completely unnecessary because
That's so true, actually.
James will comment on if a monster's nearby. James will immediately bring out his weapon if an enemy's nearby. Maria will be like, "Hey, enemy," and then the music will. If a monster sees you, if a monster spots you, the music will immediately start swelling up into combat music.
Yeah.
So you don't need the radio. It's completely like unnecessary. It's just a legacy item they kept because that's what's in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So they really needed to tone that down for any future, Silent Hill project they're going to work on.
Absolutely. I going back to like from the earlier playthrough that I was telling you about, of me collecting everything. It's really remarkable. The original game relies on such a extremely professional understanding of the juxtaposition of silence and extreme not silence.
Yeah.
And that is the part that really makes it creepy in so many areas. Like going back through, like how I was saying, where I was just like, I'm not even really paying attention. I'm just going through to collect like assets and stuff so that I can come back and just do all this stuff that I need to do. I was still finding myself getting freaked out while playing the game just because of the way that the sound in that game is just so unsettling and weird and creepy, man. There was a hole here.
It's gone.
It's gone. And so that's the other thing. I'll talk about it later probably, but I think it's so odd to me that Bloober Team really like understood the story and understood how like the details that made it work, and then they took those details and they elaborated on them and just made it into what I would say is better than the original in a purely storytelling capacity.
Yeah, like that's definitely, I agree with that. Blooper made a game that kind of makes you care more. I feel like the presentation and the character, specifically James, I think James is just such a stellar, outstanding like example in this game where you definitely are more invested in his story than you are or you might be in the original game. But then I think they took a few steps back in the actual gameplay experience department.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as scary as the original. It is far more frustrating. It kind of trudges along in a lot of ways. It overdoes some things, again, like the audio. The combat is just a lot. So while the emotional experience is incredible in this game, again, almost maybe even better than the original, but like playing it, you get kind of annoyed because it's like, I want to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I always blame Blooper for not having good stuff. Like, I'm always like, Blooper, come on, stop with the walking sims. Give me a video game. Like, give me an actual challenge. They do, and I'm like, okay, now you overdid it. It's like, you're compensating.
Yeah.
Just stop now.
You never. Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, even James is like, I don't know, man. Come on.
Like, I need you to kind of calm down here. You started loading the entire town in at the same time as I walked into this room. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We're looking back at this. I think I was trying to take refuge in that little pre-rendered receipt, hoping that it would fight off the frame rate death coming after me. It did. It was a very nice receipt. Very good of it. But I think I did this the original recording as well. I don't know why I hated that fucking particular door so much, but I did. I wanted it dead.
You just want all the glass broken. That's it.
I do. Huh. Oh, I don't like Booge. I do not like Booge. It's really funny. By the way, so I did a thing. I'm very consistent with things I don't like. Yeah. Right? I'm very consistent. I did a playthrough. I don't know if you ever seen me do that. If you say no, I'm not gonna cry. I promise, just a little bit. But I did a playthrough of White Day on this channel like a long time ago. By that I mean like maybe 2-3 years ago. And in YouTube time, that's ancient.
Yeah.
But so I recorded that, and there was a jump scare moment where I actually like jumped and like screamed at the screen, and you can see like video webcam, like I had that on too, so like you can see I was legit. And then a couple of years after that, so about a year later, I don't know why I keep saying a couple of years, stop me. I watched that entire playthrough with 2 of my friends because they're like, that's kind of interesting. I was like, yeah, let's watch it again, I guess. That scene happened. Me and in video me both perfectly in sync screamed at the exact same jump scare at the like for the exact length, and my friends were like, did you just fucking like perfectly harmonize a jump scare with yourself? And I was like, yeah, that just happened. So I'm very consistent with what scares me, even if it's like years later. If I run into the same thing happening again, I will still get scared by it in the exact same way. And I find that funny just because that bug scared me, and I'm pretty sure like past me was also like, fuck, like it's a bug, it's coming at me. I guess I just needed to fill this part where I'm just walking around the apartment looking at this dude with a little bit of an anecdote, but there you go.
That is one of the other things that I'm really sad about losing from the original footage. There's a bit in the Otherworld apartments where a scare that I won't spoil happens. But like it was one of those scares that it was like it was so scary that you didn't react to it at all. And you just paused the game, which those are literally the funniest jump scares to me ever.
I like how even the save point doesn't feel safe. I actually like. I'm curious. What was that? Do you want to write it to me, or do you want to just tell me?
Yeah. If I can remember after we're done recording, but I'll tell you. I'll remind you of that.
That's so funny. Yeah, because I do love that. There are definitely times when you get scared by something so hard that you can feel like your entire body like getting colder.
Yeah.
And then you just sit there and like, what are you gonna do? Because at that point, like, you're still in control of the game and you know you're in danger or whatever.
Yeah.
Your fight or flight kicks in, so you just pause. Yeah. And you hope to God that the game lets you pause and stop the moment from occurring.
Yeah. So I wanted to make note of it while we were here, and not get too far away from it. So that bathroom, again, and this is all, specious, not really, we don't really know if it's true or not, but it's Bloober Team put in a reference just for me and Sam, I'm sure, because that bathroom is supposed to very much look like the bathroom that you first enter the Otherworld in Silent Hill 4. That's supposed to kind of look like Henry Townsend's bathroom. There's definitely a lot of parallels in that bathroom.
Perry Lowell, that's his name.
Yo.
That too. I see. There's so many small things that I wish we could like bring back, footage wise. But yeah, no, I remember we walked into that bathroom when I was gonna be like, "Is this Henry's bathroom? What is happening?"
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then that time when I was like, I don't want to go down the ladder yet. I want to go to that other door. And then I ran through and actually panicked for a second because I thought I was actually gonna fall.
Yeah. Which they actually removed James falling from this game, which is really sad. You used to be able to step him down off of little cliffs in the original game, and he'd be like, "Ooh," and then like fall flat on his back.
We need to get like an example of that when we, I don't know when and why, but when we play the original. I was like, how am I gonna get? We already beat the game.
Yeah.
I was almost about to go back into the apartment, which is something I also did on the first playthrough. I was like, oh, a thing to go into.
It's really hot in my closet. So we can take a break, come back later or tomorrow. That's fine.
What were we talking about? Because I actually had a thought about that, but it's
about me being in the closet. I'm out now.
I was gonna say, are you like doing a reverse in the closet? Like, are you like going back in?
Yeah, I'm straight again. That was actually, I don't even really want to get into it, but for some fucking reason, I started working at Aldi, and
Aldi's made you question your what?
No, I started working at Aldi. And like, obviously I can't really give them like my preferred name on all of my documents and shit. Yeah. And so like they were introduced to me through my dead name. And so like I just like, I don't know, for some fucking reason, at that job I was just like, you know what, we're just gonna be a boy again for a hot minute. And I don't know why, but I just didn't feel like telling anybody otherwise. And it's just so fun because like, I mean, like, the funny thing, and this is like early trans theory. Like, you don't even need to worry about this if you don't already know. But like me, like being like hiding my gender and stuff like that. That's something that you do in like the second or third year of your transition, when you're like, I don't know if I can commit. I don't know if I, like, I don't feel like I pass, whatever. I need to emphasize that like I had already been out in this town for like 4 or 5 years at this point, and like,
like,
before that, like already transitioned for like 8 or 9. So it wasn't like I was like, like, oh, I'm feeling bad about it. It was literally just like, you know what, I don't feel like it.
This is too much work. I don't want to do it. I don't know. What is like the opposite of like, when people are like, no, you can't just change who you are. And what is like the opposite of that? I'm like, no, Gwynn, you're a girl. Don't mess this up.
Yeah. No, literally, like, it's really funny. The best thing about it was that it was just after the quarantines had ended in for all the COVID stuff. So everybody was wearing masks and stuff.
Oh.
And honestly, like, I have a remarkably feminine figure, just in general. I don't cut a very imposing image.
All right, horny comments, calm down. Nobody type anything right now.
I'm quite small. I'm a little petite. I've got really nice hips. You can swipe right on me on Tinder.
Excellent.
But, and especially with the mask, like, even, if I wasn't shaved, I have really long eyelashes. I always have my hair up in a ponytail because it's long. So I swear to God, like, at that job where I was not out to anyone, I got she-heard in public more than I ever had in my entire life. Just because people would, like, just walk up to me and just assume. And, I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's just like, this is a whole conversation about the flimsy idea of what, like, gender identity really is. But they'd come up and they'd be like, excuse me, miss, could you show me where the frozen peas are? And I'd be like, yup, right this way. And they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And I'm like, it's fine, you actually got it right.
I love also that when that happens, because I do a healthcare job now where people call in, patients call in, they're like, hey, I need an appointment. And they're so used to that being handled by women. A lot of people will be like, even though I've been talking to them for like the last 5 minutes and I sound like this and etc., they'll be like, so could you help me with that, miss? I mean, sir, I'm sorry. And I'm like, you're good. Like, like, I understand. You're fine. Like, I don't care. Like, you're good on that. Like, whatever. I fully understand where you're coming from with that. You don't have to be like scared. So it's just funny that when people are like, oh my God, I'm going to shoot myself because I did that. I'm like, okay, calm.
Yeah. Well, and it's always been a really funny thing for me too. Like, we're never gonna see each other ever again. Like, it's so fine. You don't have to worry about it. Like, I don't care.
If we were talking about us now, I was like, damn, all right. I mean, that's
how that's the it. We are not doing any more parts of this playthrough.
Fuck you.
We'll never see each other. We're gonna have another 7-year gap in our friendship. It's fine.
Yeah, and we never actually seen each other because, I mean, the one time we had the chance, you said, nope, I'm not coming to the Motion City soundtrack concert.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't have the money. It was
That's fair.
Yeah.
Park on the lake. We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us staring at the water.
I have to put this out to the world. I've done far too much in the editing booth here to not eventually
No,
get
I
this uploaded.
absolutely love that because you're like this is our legacy.
Yeah.
I will make this the best playthrough that I possibly can. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get to record more things with Gwynn. It's been a long time. And you're like, this will be it. And I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
Just like that's basically like the different like it was just the mindset because that's why I was like, I don't want to make you work too hard. And you're like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah. I the conceit that I had ended up running with is just that like in the future if I ever wanted to approach a big name YouTuber, if I wanted to go to Ludwig and say, let me edit your streams, I could point to a the video series like this, or maybe depending on how our lives end up going, more of our playthroughs in the future. The biggest thing is that just like it's just been really fun editing a lot of this stuff. Like every time we made reference to editing Gwynn in the original playthrough, I was just like, fuck yes, this is my moment.
That's what I was trying to do that a lot in like this live commentary, which is kind of like I was like, I want to give you some stuff to like work with, whether if you like to, you can use it or not. That's what also I don't know, because it feels interesting where I'm like, again, I do like editing to a degree, but I also know I get burnt out a lot because I'm trying to like think like what would the youth like for the views. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to like look up what is this meme that people like to put in videos right now. Like I hate doing that. So when you're like, yeah, I like editing, I'll edit. I was like, that's awesome, yeah. And then I was like, maybe I don't know, I could record some playthroughs, send them your way, see if you wanted to do anything with them. But then I was also like, I don't want to make more work for Gwynn because Gwynn's doing this already. And this is a lot of work already.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, depending on how this goes and then how much time you have for it, like I only have my summer vacation is about to be over.
No.
I only have a little bit left, so I don't know how feasible full-time editing will be for me. But I'd like to do it more, and I think it's fun because it's just a thing that I'm passionate about at the very least. So I have to.
I mean, like I said, we can also definitely share duties. Like I still
sure.
like editing to a degree. So if you're like, hey, I've gotten like this and that done, do you want to do the rest? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll give it over and I'll stop slapping me with your slappiness. Like they're so elastic and I hate it.
I know, they're wiggly tufts.
Also, I like how you told me the first time through, don't go back, there's nothing there. And then I did it anyway. And then on this playthrough, I was like, there's nothing going to be there. But what if there's a new thing there now? Because it's a new game plus. So, and no matter what, I have to go back here. It's just part of the lore. But yeah, well, this is about to, I guess we can still talk over a little bit because you can just have it on a black screen and cut it out. But yeah, I mean, do you have any closing thoughts on this first part here?
I will say, I guess I'm a little bit apologetic about the fact that I think most of the conversation that we've had so far has just been technical conversation and then complaining about the game, which I want to reemphasize. I literally think that this remake is about as close to perfect as any remake of a game could ever be. And the only reason that my critiques of this game come out so strongly are because they stand out in comparison from everything.
We love you, Blooper Team, and you did it very well, and we want you to do better because you can do perfection. You've shown you can do the perfect. Now do it. Now make sure kind of trim the combat back, make the audio a little bit more balanced, and then that'll be good. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this first part of this craziness, and I do hope that you all have a good rest of your day until the next time.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye!